Hi, I'm Mila Lynn, and you're watching BACC's Mind to Canvas. So I'm from Lansing, Michigan. I was born in Colorado Springs, but I moved here when I was like 4 years old. And then I've been living lots of other places. I lived in Miami for 3.5 years. I lived out closer to Detroit for 2 years. I was overseas for some time. So we're back in Michigan now. So that's a tough question. I was looking over it and I'm like, I don't know that there is like a favorite time. I think that it's kind of, you get like this stream of like inspiration that comes to you, and that can happen in the middle of the night, that can happen during the day. It's normally not early in the morning for me, I'm gonna be honest. But I find myself a lot of times like working late at the studio, and I think that's just because as I get more tired, like I loosen up and I just kind of like allow myself to flow. So yeah, probably late at night. So this is a question that I get a lot. I find my inspiration like in life around me. You know, I started creating when I was a kid as like a way to understand the world, things that happened to me, my emotions, conversations that maybe I wasn't like, confident enough to have. I would like draw them out, or you know, like situations. So now that I'm older, I still do the same thing. That's where I find my inspiration, is like what happens in the world around me. But now I also will have other people bring their stories to me and I create for them. So yeah, simple. I think that, I want my artwork to have an impact, but I also like want the way that I carry myself as an artist to have an impact. Like you can be an artist and support yourself and be like a functioning member of society. I feel like there's this disconnect because you have people who sell artwork for like millions of dollars, or you have musical performers that, they have huge concerts. And then like when you're first starting out and you're like, I want to be a musician or I want to be an artist, people like don't connect those two. And they'll be like, oh, well, you won't make money doing that. And it's like, but what about all these people that we listen to all day long, So I want to make that connection for people, and then I also want to like be a voice, advocate for the things that I believe in, and not like sell out through the journey. Still keep telling stories that matter, and especially stories that are not told in the media, or just not like readily accepted by society. So, yeah. My art in general doesn't have like one specific overall meaning. There's different pieces that have different meanings, or like different collections. So like my Black is King collection that I have on display here, that is all about like, having happy images of Black people that are vibrant and powerful that we can identify with, right? Because a lot of times in media and society we get chosen to be victims or villains. And sometimes I just want to be like Black and happy and like doing my thing and not have to have any sort of justification to do that. Or then I have these collage pieces they have like flower heads, and they're all about like relationships, because I think that you can learn a lot from agriculture and horticulture with like, the environment and how you treat things and like whether they're able to grow and thrive. So I kind of like mix that with interpersonal relationships as well. So yeah, there's all different types of meanings, but it's kind of representative of like what I'm going through at the time. So some collections I like leave alone for a while and then I come back to them, or certain things like I can like just pump out all at once. But yeah. So my favorite piece is this piece called Block King, like block with an O, like neighborhood block. I painted that while I was in London, and it was like when I first started doing portraits. So I was there for like a 3-month set of time, and I had a studio and everything. And within that whole time frame, I think I painted like 5 or 6 portraits. But they weren't, you know what I mean? They weren't even like grand scheme like these. They were like little 8 by 10s. And then I decided one day to get like a huge canvas and just be like, I'm gonna paint a big portrait. And it's probably like one of my best paintings. And when I had it on display for the open studios there, like people came in and they connected with it because of the eyes. And people wanted to know, like, is the boy sad, or like what's he feeling, or is he left alone, and like this whole story behind it. And that was like my first time realizing that like sometimes people find connections in something because of something, that they feel, but also because of like color choice and other things. So that's my favorite piece, because there's an explanation that I have for it that doesn't have words. Like, I can't explain it to other people, but like everybody who sees it is able to connect with it in a different way. So like, I'll never sell it. I don't even want to make prints. I just love that piece. It's in my studio, and people are always like, "Oh, I love this," and I'm like, "Oh, good, it's fine." Yeah. So, I think that there's so many different levels to the art world, right? Like, you have, your home community base of the arts. You go other places. You can like go to these big markets like Art Basel and huge industry stuff. And I think that, the most important thing that I've realized over the last couple of years is to like stay true to who you are, and not to like watch other people's paths, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of times as an artist, you might like compare yourself to another artist and be like, oh, why have I not made this amount of money, or why don't I have this amount of exposure, or why? But it's like, what you are doing is very important, and like, you have to stay on that path, because that's how you're meant to walk. And if somebody else gets to the finish line a little quicker or whatever, that's just their path, and maybe, that's not for you. Probably all the time it's not for you. That's why you're two separate people. And then I think like when you're able to do that, then you can better like not sell out. So one thing that like Maya was talking about is, no matter how much money somebody offers you or what opportunities people offer you, if it doesn't sit right in your soul, you shouldn't do it. And even with like simple things of sometimes the way that like you're treated by people who would like artwork from you, it's like, if you're going to be nasty, I want to do work with you. And that's just like simple self-respect. But anytime you do end up doing that sort of thing, you never have a good time with it. So I think it's important to stay true to yourself and just mind your own journey, So I think I decided this the other day. I want to be powerful, like, I want to be powerful as a woman. I want to be powerful as an artist. I want to be powerful just like as a human in general. I want to be powerful in terms of like my influence can like make things happen that when I was growing up, like, I didn't have any control over. And to a certain extent, like, you don't really control anything, do you? But if you can inspire people, you can uplift people, you can educate people, I think that unifies communities. And I would like to be powerful in that sort of way. So it's more than just painting or collaging. When you can create something, like, that is like a whole connection with people's souls. And I think if you use that for like positivity and, great outcomes, that it can be like beneficial in amazing ways, like ways that you can't even think of. And I would love to be a person who could, carry that on their shoulders and do right by it. Yes. So this is a project that I'm really excited about. So last year when I did Art Prize in Grand Rapids, I wasn't present when the founder of the Diatribe came around, but he actually saw my artwork in another display that was for like a mini micro gallery that Muse had set up. And through that we connected, and every year the Diatribe does these mural projects that basically they do them in areas of Grand Rapids that I don't feel like generally get like the attention in terms of like the money to spend on the arts. So basically the project is, we meet with neighborhoods, we meet with schools and students to talk about like what sort of artwork they would like in their neighborhood, and then we install it with Black and minority businesses. And I'm really excited about that because, one, it's art, but also I think that it will be really cool to talk to people about what they want and like what would make them take pride in their neighborhood, and just what they could come out of their house and like see and just be excited for life that day, or it would make them feel whatever but feel something. So that, like, I start the listening sessions this month, and then the actual mural installation, once the sketch and everything is approved, will happen in July. So I'm just excited. It's a huge building. Part of me is like, I don't know what I'm doing. But the other half is like, this is going to be amazing. So, yeah.